That other sport has ended. That means the good sport is ready to begin. Spring training starts this week. It's baseball season. Let's talk about here on All Dodgers. Coming at you live from my mom's basement here in beautiful Pleasant Grove, Utah. This is the All Dodgers podcast, part of the Bleav Network of podcasts, brought to you by FanDuel. I am Jeff Snider. It's probably just me tonight. Clint might hop in. We'll see if he's man enough, but probably just going to be me tonight. But we're prepared either way. And it is Sunday, February 8th. The Super Bowl just ended a little over an hour ago. First thing I'm not going to talk about football much. You guys know I'm not a football guy. I understand football. I was a good football player in high school, blah, 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 blah. I don't like football. I did watch the game. It was, did not help with the I don't like football condition that I suffer from. So, we'll put it that way. But, there are a few things related to the Dodgers I want to talk about, or at least to baseball. First of all, not being allowed to say Super Bowl is kind of ridiculous. I understand trademarks, and I understand, we own the trademark to Super Bowl, so you can't, if you own a car dealership, you can't say this is the Super Bowl of car deals, whatever. But I feel like if you're talking about the Super Bowl, you should be allowed to say Super Bowl, It feels like a very Rob Manfred decision to make. Like, hey, that thing that you're all going to watch, you're not allowed to say the name. You're not allowed to advertise for our sport for free. Anyway, I think that's kind of ridiculous. So I say Super Bowl when I want to. Second thing, I made a joke on the social medias. Apparently the Seahawks general manager is named John Schneider. So I said it's nice to see a John Schneider-led team get over the hump in a championship game. That was a little jab at our friends up in Toronto, of course, because their manager, the manager of the Blue Jays, is also named John Schneider. Different John Schneider. Both of them different from the guy who played Bo Duke. Bo. I don't remember which Duke brother on the Dukes of Hazzard, who was also named John Schneider. Three different John Schneiders. One of them has lost a World Series. One of them has won a Super Bowl. And one of them made a country music album while he was acting. And the last thing that I'm going to say about this, they also, every time they showed Mike Macdonald on the screen, the Seahawks coach, they would mention how young he is and that he's from Roswell, Georgia. I don't know why they needed to mention his hometown every time. It kind of felt like just, oh, we know this thing about him. Let's mention it every time we see him. But Roswell, Georgia is important because that's where Mike Ramsey is from. Not the Mike Ramsey who played on the 1980 Miracle on Ice hockey team in the Winter Olympics for the United States of America. Not that guy. I'm talking about former Dodger Mike Ramsey. Which former Dodger Mike Ramsey? I'm talking about Michael J. Ramsey, who played for the Dodgers in the 1980s. Which Michael J. Ramsey, who played for the Dodgers in the 1980s? Guess what? Both of them were from Roswell, Georgia. No relation. Michael James Ramsey, Michael Jeffrey Ramsey, both went to Roswell High School in Roswell, Georgia. Mike Macdonald went to Centennial High School in Roswell, Georgia. Nobody who ever played for the Dodgers went to Centennial High School, but Mike Ramsey and Mike Ramsey, who played for the Dodgers, went to Roswell High School. And those are the things I thought about while I was watching the Super Bowl, because you know what? I'm always thinking about baseball and almost never thinking about football. I thought the commercials were fine this year. I thought the singing pubes were a little bit much. Not a big fan of that one. I thought the halftime show was fine. I think the halftime show is just like every political debate in history, in that if you went into it expecting to like it, you liked it. And if you went into it expecting to hate it, you hated it. Just like every political debate, the guy you wanted to win won the debate. You know what? Some preconceived political notions are a wild thing, but it was fine. Dirty Don in the chat says, is this a Super Bowl recap show? No, it's not. In fact, I guess I did mention in a roundabout way that the Seahawks won. But yeah, I was talking about the things that relate to baseball about it, because this is a Dodgers show. And you know what? We are just hanging out tonight. We're not hanging out for 2 or 3 hours like we have sometimes. This one is going to be an hour tops, maybe even less than that. I guess we'll see. We will see if Clint comes in. I am going to lean back in my chair a little bit because I like to do that when I'm, relaxed on a Sunday night. Nothing too important to talk about tonight. I do want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that Clint talked about on his solo show yesterday, All Dodgers After Dark in the morning. He talked a little bit about the roster news. I'll talk about that too. As you know, most likely, if you have been paying attention the last couple days, the Dodgers reclaimed catcher Ben Rortvedt, a.k.a. Ron Roveltelt, a.k.a. Benny Biceps, a.k.a. Ronnie Roves. I like Ronnie Roves because it's a nickname of a nickname. Dodgers reclaimed him on waivers from the Reds, and to make room for him, they DFA'd Anthony Bonda, which I don't think it was a huge surprise to many people that Bonda got DFA'd. He seemed unlikely to make the roster this year just because of not having options and being the fifth, sixth best left-handed relief pitching option the Dodgers have. And so Bonda was DFA'd. They now have a week from 2 days ago, so another 5 days or so to trade him. I wouldn't be surprised if Bonda gets traded. If he doesn't get traded, then he'll just be released most likely, or they'll go through waivers. Maybe somebody claims him. We'll see what happens. But I don't think that there's really room for Bonda on this roster, even if he was to clear waivers and any of that. I think Bonda's time with the Dodgers has passed, and not in a bad way. Just hey, the Anthony Bonda era has ended. The big question is, what does phase 2 of the Ben Rortvedt era look like? Because, I think the most likely outcome is that the Dodgers almost immediately DFA him again pretty soon. Simply because this was a thought I had, and then I saw some other people mention on Twitter. It wasn't a unique thought to me, but the fact is the Dodgers choose last, or have last claiming rights in the waiver process. And so the fact that the Dodgers were able to claim Rortvedt from the Reds means that the 28 teams that aren't the Reds and the Dodgers just passed on claiming Rortvedt. And so the Dodgers could take a calculated risk. Hey, all these teams just passed on him a couple days ago. Let's put him through waivers again and see if they'll all pass on him again. Because if they all did pass on him, then they could remove him for the 40-man roster and just outright him to Oklahoma City, thereby keeping him in the organization, not taking up a 40-man roster spot. That's the only way that Rortvedt can get sent to the minors, is if he gets outrighted off the 40-man roster. And that's what the Dodgers were trying to do a couple months ago when they originally DFA'd him. That's what the Reds were trying to do when they DFA'd him, I'm sure. So I guess that might mean that the Reds might try to claim him back if they could make room on their 40-man roster. And, we could have a tug-of-war match between the Dodgers and the Reds. Who blinks first, DFA him, claim him, and, but I wouldn't be surprised at all to see that happen. But I also wouldn't be surprised to see the Dodgers just go into spring training with Will Smith and Dalton Rushing and Ben Rortvedt all on the 40-man roster, because they don't need to decide on the 26-man. It's not an issue until the regular season starts. And so, injuries always happen. And whether that's an injury on the Dodgers, if Smith or Rushing got hurt, well, then you'd be glad that you had Ben Rortvedt, because the Dodgers don't have any good catching prospects anywhere near the major leagues. So, it might make sense to just hold on to him, because whether the injury is to the Dodgers or if another team has an injury and suddenly they need a catcher, even just a backup catcher, well, then maybe there's trade opportunities for the Dodgers to trade Rortvedt. I go back and forth between what I think they're going to do, whether I think they're going to DFA him immediately or just go into spring training and just see what happens. I think I'm fine either way. I I do think, Ken just asked a question. He says, bigger question is how many games does Rushing start this year? Maybe 50 behind the plate. Freddie won't want to budge much at first base. Maybe try him at third base to spell Muncy. Yeah, part of the challenge with Rushing is the fact that he hits left-handed, just like Freddie and Muncy both do. And so it's not even like there's anybody, we want to sit Muncy against this tough lefty. Let's have Dalton Rushing play. Well, then you're putting Rushing in a tough situation to face that tough lefty as a lefty hitter. And so it doesn't really bode that well for the platoon there. Freddie, I know Freddie wants to play every game. Freddie always wants to play every game. But yeah, I expect Rushing to get, 40-ish starts at catcher, assuming that Will Smith stays healthy. If Smith, needs some time on the IL, Rushing could get more than that, but I would guess 40-ish. There's 30 weeks in the season. If he starts a couple games, 1.5 games a week, that's 45-ish starts. So somewhere in that ballpark, 40 to 50 starts at catcher. And then, sometime at first base. I don't know that they would just throw him at third base. In fact, I think it would be more likely that they might have Will Smith play a little third base and have Rushing play catcher if they wanted to give Muncy a day off here or there. But they also have a lot of guys who can play third. I don't think third is going to play much into the equation for playing time for Dalton Rushing. For me, the big question is, have they given up entirely on the left field experiment? Because Teoscar Hernandez is a left fielder, and unlike with Muncy and Freddie, Teo does bat right-handed, which means that it could be obviously not a straight platoon, but if there was a tough righty on the mound, that Teo struggles against tough righties sometimes. If there's a guy who Teo's going to struggle against, you might sit him and put Rushing out there in left field, if you thought that made sense. That's the thing that we don't really know right now. We know that they stopped the Rushing and left field experiment last year, but we don't know if they stopped it permanently or if they stopped it because it was hard to do mid-season. So we'll have to see. BC says, I can't see Freddie playing less of the 147 games he played last season and the year before that. Yeah, but even 147, that's 15 games. And so if Rushing's getting 50 starts at catcher and 15 games at first base, well, that's 65 games. And suddenly, we're starting to get to the point where Rushing is getting enough plate appearances that maybe he can get in the groove offensively, because Rushing didn't hit well last year to the point where a lot of fans think that he is a worse hitter than Ben Rortvedt. There are very few things in life I'm more confident about than that Dalton Rushing is a better hitter than Ben Rortvedt, but Rushing needs plate appearances to get in that groove and be able to show that potential. And if they aren't going to be able to get him plate appearances, it might make sense for him to be trade bait somewhere. But I don't like the idea of trading him because I do think he's going to be a star once he gets regular playing time. It's just weird to see, or it's hard to know where that's going to happen. We got a couple people throwing predictions in the chat. Charlie says the Dodgers are going to go 104-58 in the regular season, then 11-3 in the playoffs, back-to-back world champions. Yeah, obviously, I would love that. That watching this football game today, after having watched the World Series just a few months ago, just what a better everything the World Series was than this Super Bowl. And I know that's not always the case. I know there's been duds of a World Series, and I know there's been great games in the Super Bowl. But in the last 4 months or whatever it's been, 3 months? Just over 3 months, there has definitely been one championship that was much more entertaining than the other. It's baseball's just great. And I know I'm biased because I like baseball. I don't like football. But Sarah in the chat makes a point. We need Ben Rortvedt during spring training because of WBC. Yeah, in some way. I mean, he'll get some plate appearances, and Rushing will too because of the WBC, because Will Smith will be off with Team USA a little bit. But there's also, like, spring training is the time that you always have every catcher in the organization. We're going to see the list soon, probably in the next day or two, of the non-roster invitations that the Dodgers are extending to spring training. And it's going to have several catchers on it, including guys we've hardly heard of or never heard of, or didn't even know they were in the Dodgers organization, because you always need catchers in spring training, even when your starter isn't playing in the WBC. But yeah, Smith playing in the WBC definitely increased the need for Rortvedt in spring training, and maybe it does push the needle a little bit towards not DFAing Rortvedt right now, and letting just going into spring training with all three guys on the 40-man roster. Because if you did DFA Rortvedt, obviously if you sneak him through waivers and keep him, he's still in camp as an NRI, and nothing is really different. But if you lose him, then that is one less catcher that you have. Just looking at the chat, see if Seth says Rushing and Rortvedt for Tarek Skubal. Yeah. Definitely seems realistic there, Seth. I appreciate your ideas. Steve says 110 plus wins for the regular season this year. BC says 117 and 45 and 11-0 in the playoffs would be nice. I think we can all agree that that's what they should do. I guess we will see what they actually do, but you know what? Yeah. We got a super chat. It is $4.99 from our buddy Enigma. He says, my bold prediction for 2026 is Shohei will hit 60 home runs. He hit 44 in 2023, 54 in 2024, and 55 in 2025. He will hit 60 in 2026. I love the prediction. I always will take the under on anything like that, just because I think the fact that, the fact that he's done as well as he has the last 2 years was unexpected. I mean, he hit more home runs each of the last 2 years than he ever had before. And so it's a lot to expect him to do it again, but also I wouldn't bet against Shohei Ohtani, which is part of why I'm not a betting man, because you know what, there's a lot of bets that just don't make sense to make. But I would love to see him get to 60 or 74, might as well just hit 74. Just do it. Charlie says, Jeff, I really think you and Kevin and Clint should go to a Dodger game together and give a good podcast of your events. That would definitely be a lot of fun. Clint and I have seen each other at Dodger games. We had never actually gone to a game together. We did do the watch party from the golf course in Pico Rivera last season. I live 661 miles from Dodger Stadium. Kevin lives a lot farther than that, and so it's a challenge for sure. But I'm definitely up for that. Hopefully, sometime soon. Dirty Don says, "When are we re-signing Kiké?" And I've covered this before. As soon as there's room on the 40-man roster, and the fact is, right now there's not. Now, if they do decide to DFA Ben Rortvedt, then there would be room on the 40-man roster to sign Kiké and then immediately put him on the 60-day IL in a few days when that opens up. The challenge right now is, and I've mentioned this before, just the 60-day IL opening up doesn't get the job done this year for these Dodgers, because they don't have anybody necessarily who's ready to go on the 60-day IL to make room to sign Kiké. Because, yes, after they sign Kiké, then they can put him on the 60-day IL and open up that roster spot again, but they have to have the roster spot in order to sign him. And so that's the answer, is once they have a roster spot. And most likely it'll be soon, probably relatively early in spring training. But it just depends on how they're going to make room for Kiké on the roster, even though he'll only need a spot for an hour, just long enough to sign him and then put him on the 60-day IL. But, they need that. They need that for an hour. Let's see. Elisheva says, question, who will sign Zach Gallen? It's a good question. Gallen is a guy who it's tricky. He's been elite, like one of the best pitchers in the league at times. And then he's also struggled a little bit lately. And, I now that most of the other starters have signed, Gallen's probably the next one to come off the board, but I don't know where he's going to go. He's a guy there have been times I would have loved the Dodgers to have him, but he definitely, I don't think he makes the Dodgers not even just significantly better. I don't know if he makes the Dodgers better. I think the Dodgers might have more than enough guys to fill the 6-man rotation who are at least as good as Zach Gallen at this point. And you know what? Maybe Gallen has a bounce back year, but he was, I'm just looking at his stats. It feels like it's been a while since he's been good. I guess last year was his first bad year, but I mean, you look at his strikeout rate, it's gone down pretty much every year, and that's rough. The walk rate is, higher than it was when he was elite, when he was getting Cy Young votes. He's just not the pitcher he was. I mean, he had a 4.50 FIP last year, just showing that his 4.83 ERA wasn't really a fluke. The good thing going for him is he was healthy, but he wasn't good. When you can make 33 starts and have a 1.1 WAR, that's a rough season. And so he's 30 years old. He's going to be 31 in August. I don't know that Zach Gallen has a huge bounce back in him, but I don't think it's the Dodgers. That's my main answer to Elisheva's question, is somewhere that's not real Los Angeles. He might sign with fake Los Angeles. I don't know. Hey, look who's here. Let's see if I can get him in. What's up? It's my friend Clint Pasillas, coming to you live from his mom's basement in beautiful La Puente, California. What's up, Clint?
What's going on? You guys talking about Dodger baseball? By you guys, I mean you.
Yeah, we talked Super Bowl for a little while. I said Super Bowl just to rub it into Roger Goodell that he's not the boss of me. I could say it all I want,
Take that. Take that. Oh, I might be spitting things out here.
Probably going to get demonetized now. But.
Yeah, don't come after us, NFL. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Underwhelming game, but I cleaned house. Me and my friends, we like to gamble on the commercials, and not in the way that people enjoy, it's a commercial, what are they going to do? But more so like, is it going to be a car brand? That's the first commercial. Or is it going to be an X or Y or Z or whatever? So your boy got himself a lot of gambling money for spring training, which is coming up.
Yeah. Spring training is just about here. In fact, it's here. You know what? The truck left Dodger Stadium. I'm sure it's at Camelback Ranch by now. And so, spring training is here. I think tomorrow we'll probably start getting pictures of, we've seen Shohei there. You talked about that the other day. We've seen guys there at Camelback Ranch. We're going to get more of that. These guys are excited. I'm glad you're here, though, my short king, because I was noticing something today. The Dodgers 40-man roster, they're a short team, especially on the position player side. Okay, don't look at it. Hey, Clint, I'm going to ask you, of the 40 guys on the 40-man roster, how many do you think are taller than me? By which I mean 6'3" or taller. I claim 6'3". I used to be a legit 6'3". Now I'm an old fat 6'3", so like 6'2" and a half or so.
Glasnow, Snell is 6'2", I think, or 6'1". Maybe he's 6'7". All right, so that's my time.
You're the worst.
Yeah, thank you. Is it just them?
No, there's more than that.
Hold on. I'm braining. Freddie, I think. Freddie might be 6, right at you. I forget his height. Yeah, I'm going to throw a number down. I'm throwing my number down on the gauntlet. I'm going to say 6, because why not?
Okay. So you undershot it. On the 40-man roster, really? There's 15 guys taller than me, but 12 of them are pitchers. Only 3 position players. Freddie Freeman, Kyle Tucker, and Shohei Ohtani are the only position players. Of the 15 position players, there are only 6 guys who are 6 feet or taller. Like they have
Wait,
nine.
I didn't know we are going 6 feet. I thought we are going for 6'3" or
No,
taller.
6'3" is 15 guys total, but only three position players. 6 feet or taller, there's only six position players on the 40-man roster. You go down this list, and it is just a who's who of shorties. The reason I noticed is because all three catchers, like Will Smith, or Dalton Rushing's the tall one at 5'11". You got Will Smith at 5'10", and Ben Rortvedt, Ronnie Roves at 5'9". And then you've got Tommy Edmonds 5'9", Kim is 5'10", Muncy's 5'10", Rojas is 5'11", Alex Call's 5'11", Mickey Ciani is 5'11", and Ryan Ward is 5'10", Wardo. You've got, and we're talking like Wardo is a big power hitter, but he's 5'10". Muncy, big power hitter, 5'10". It's kind of interesting. And then the pitching side is like, you got Glasnow and Ronan Kopp and Paul Gervais and Emmett Sheehan, who are like somewhere between tall and freakishly tall.
Oh man, I did not realize Paul Gervais was 6'10", probably because we never actually seen him, I think.
Yeah, he pitched in one game, didn't he?
pitch one?
I know he got called up. I don't remember if he got in the game.
You did definitely get called up. Oh yeah, no. One game, one run over 2 innings.
Yeah, hey, MVP.
And that means World Series ring, baby.
But yeah, I just thought that was interesting that they have so many short position players. And, just kind of goes to show, like, you wouldn't see that on any other sport. Like, height doesn't really matter, especially for position players. I think tall players tend to gravitate towards being pitchers. It's my son is 14 years old, and he's 6'4" now. And like he loves playing shortstop, but everybody's like, yeah, you're probably going to end up being a pitcher. So he's like, oh, I don't know if I just want to be a pitcher. I thought that was interesting, and I'm glad you hopped in. My short king. So because let's face it,
you needed for narrative.
Yeah. Let's face it, this podcast has some shortness to it too.
What are you talking about? You're the guy who does it like 10-hour long podcasts. Yeah.
By minute, there's a lot of height, but
there is a lot.
How tall are you, Clint?
I mean, these days, fatter, hunchier, probably like a solid 5'7", 5'8". Nice. On a good day, 5'8". Yeah.
I mentioned earlier, by the way, that we're not doing a super long show. And JY Kim in the chat said, "Didn't you call Clint a coward for not doing a 3-hour show?"
This is fair.
Yeah,
I did.
Clint was a
get
coward.
A lot of crap.
But I've done a 3-hour show. Clint hasn't.
I have in the past.
I mean, yeah, but not this version of Clint. Not on this version of the show.
No, absolutely not.
Your episode that you did the day the Dodgers signed Yamamoto, that was a long one, wasn't it?
Yeah, because we were.
I feel like you were already like an hour and a half in when the signing happened, and then
we were about to sign off. I was about to sign off at like an hour and maybe like an hour 1, hour 3, whatever it was, and then we started seeing the reports trickle in, and then it's like, we got him, to borrow another great Ghostbusters reference there, Ghostbusters line, and then we all hung out for maybe another hour or so, which is what you do when you're a budding channel and you sign arguably the top available Japanese pitcher on the free agent market. Yeah. Free agent-ish.
Yeah.
That was one.
Ray Soto, I think, got his feelings hurt. He said 5'8" is short. You know what? Everything under about 6'1" looks the same to me, Just all I see is the top of people's heads.
I like I agree. Dad Braves just said in the chat, huge thumbs up for the title of tonight's podcast alone, which is Dodgers Trucks are heading to Arizona because it's baseball season. I'm excited, man. I'm to make it about baseball again. Like for us to be, like you said, we should start to see, players. We should start to see the social media team stalking them out in front of the main like clubhouse there at Camelback Ranch. Start to see them doing the slow motion walk-ups. It's fun. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
I do need Dad Braves. That's my buddy Mike. Mike, I need you to change your handle. Like I know it's because like his son played for the Braves or something, like in Little League or whatever. But yeah. So I just call him Mike because ain't nobody got time. Sometimes I call him Jackson's dad, because his son is one of the reasons that we don't do F-bombs on my shows, because his son is one that I know listens to the show with his dad. So
So that's the guy that Richie's going to come after now.
one of the guys.
One of.
Yeah, one of the reasons that Richie is unfree. He is shackled, chained.
Because you don't have mental toughness.
Yeah.
But
Seth says anything over 5'5" is too tall, which if you've met Seth, you understand that comment. Seth, like
definitely
the top of his head, but like I can see the back of his head when he's facing me. Like that's how short Seth is. But he's a great guy.
Nice kid, friend of the show.
Yeah.
Our second favorite client. First being Will.
Yeah, they're tied. You know, Seth and his cousin Will are tied for first for me.
It's fair. I'll give him that.
Did you have any baseball related thoughts about the Super Bowl while you were watching? Or
no, not so much.
Baseball season.
I'm glad it's baseball season. It was a dull Super Bowl overall. All of the halftime shows that were available seemed pretty mid. All of the amount that the Super Bowl has been politicized, at least I feel like we don't get that in baseball. It's just whack a ball and hope it goes far. I enjoy that. I enjoy the long story of a baseball season, and the joy that I get from when they lose and they look bad and people are wanting to tune in to talk about DFA and Kenley Jansen and all that kind of stuff. Like that's stuff that makes it fun. To survive a baseball season, because at the end of it, like you get a World Series and it's about baseball, and you can get games like we got in Game 7 or even Game 3, which was a marathon, a Jeff type of show, Game 6, all of that kind of stuff. Like you can get these kind of gems, or Orion Kirkering throwing the baseball around to no man's land. I don't know. I feel like you don't get that as much with football. It's lame.
Yeah, and for me, one of the things that makes baseball so much better than football is that there is more variance. Like I think, I don't know what the betting odds were. I didn't look before the game today, and now I'm sure they're off. But I know that the Seahawks were heavily favored in this game because they were, even though they had, I think the two teams had the same record in the regular season, the Seahawks were clearly the better team. And in football and also basketball, the better team wins much more often than it does in baseball. Because in baseball, you have a different pitcher every day. It's harder to, the failure rate is much higher in baseball. And so it's easier to stack failures together. It's easier for a good team to get held to one run than it is for a good football team to get held to 12 points. It just doesn't happen as much. And so baseball's just more exciting. There's more question going in, which makes it more stressful, but it's also more exciting, and I like it. And I was born into a baseball family, and that's the answer. I grew up liking baseball, so that's why I like baseball. But I didn't even like football when I had to play it, I like hitting people.
Did you see when we had Andrew Friedman on Dodgers territory, him talking about his way of surviving that I think it was Game 3, throwing the chair around because he was hoping that Will Smith fly ball that could have been a homer a month prior, in a warmer climate. Yeah. That you don't get, I feel like you don't get that kind of stress, that kind of joy of that painful joy that we get with baseball.
When Andy F was talking about that, I was thinking about Game 2 of the 2017 World Series, when Bellinger hit that one in extra innings that off the bat seemed like it was a walk-off homer, and it died at the track, just like Will Smith's did. Dodgers ended up losing that game and losing that series. So this was, that
was Game 2. Was that the Kenley blown save? I think.
Yep. Yeah. It was. Rich Hill gets pulled. A lot of people didn't like that decision, and then Brandon Morrow gives up a run. Kenley gives up the homer to tie the game. And it was, if the Dodgers had ended up winning that series, it would have been a game I was glad I was at because it was a great game. But the fact that the Dodgers came on the losing end made it, and then everything we found out after the fact about that entire series and the cheaters who were cheating and everything. It was,
It's a trash can that I'm banging for those watching
Hey,
on the radio.
Speaking of trash cans, we got a comment from Richie Flores.
Wow.
Just
Cold-blooded.
This was such an awful Super Bowl. Even Manny Machado's moral values can't believe how bad it was.
It's to
His
borrow
morale
from Jeff.
values.
It's morale. Yeah, morale.
His morale values. I still don't know if it's Ham or Christopher, but
I was thinking, it was definitely thinking Christopher.
yeah. Isn't there morale like a brand of ham?
Yes, there is.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Morel ham. There's John Morrell, Morrell. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. But I feel like
Rosman likes that I have a trash can, by the way. I don't even remember where I got this from, but this has been through like 3 or 5 different Blue Heaven sets and 2 or 3 different iterations of my all Dodger set here in beautiful La Puente, California.
Yeah. Where my dad was born and raised.
So obviously I joined you late. I forgot when I came home, I had to do our paperwork to the network to tell them how great we're doing or how terrible we're doing. So they eventually pay us. So I had to take care of that before jumping on. But did you share your Anthony Bonda's thoughts? Because I see somebody, Mr. Buddha, asking in the comments.
Yeah, I did.
Rewind.
I didn't focus much on Bonda other than, well, I'm not really surprised. By the way, I did Google this. Morel mushrooms is what I was thinking of. John Morrell ham, but Morel mushrooms.
Mushrooms, ham, it's all relative.
Yeah.
And you check your grocer's freezer aisle.
Yeah, both things you'll find in a forest.
Mm-hmm.
Black forest ham, mushrooms,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hold on, wait, I got it.
What were we trying to talk about?
The Bonda thing. What are your thoughts about him? That was one of the first things I did after the World Series on Dodgers territory was my 9 players who won't be back next season, and I think Bonda was somewhere in the middle of that list. Like we all knew, it's not so much that he wasn't good or didn't necessarily have the talent, but there's other people kind of above him on the depth chart, and he doesn't have options.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. He wasn't a fit because of his roster situation. Because you look at, you got, just going in alphabetical order, Jack Dreyer, Ronan Kopp, Tanner Scott, Alex Vesia, Justin Robleski. 5 lefties, and I think you can make a pretty strong case that 4 of the 5 have proven to be at least as good as Bonda.
Yeah. And he'll get a job. He will get a job quick somewhere. Hopefully it's like I said yesterday, a job with a contender, an opportunity where he can be, some sort of de facto leader in that clubhouse, because suddenly he's got a lot of experience under his belt. So I like it for him. I think it plays out.
And you know what? He's got 2 World Series rings too. So good for him. And it
hurt a little bit.
Yeah.
Not coordinated enough to put up my ring finger.
Mr. Buddha says, why would you not trade Bonda, though, and get something rather than nothing? He has more value than a lot of minor league guys, I think is what that means. Than some other teams. And the Dodgers probably still will trade Bonda. DFAing him doesn't mean they can't trade him. That gives them a week. So they've got 5 more days to try to trade Bonda, and I think that's probably what's going to happen. If not, then, they may lose him for nothing, but this doesn't change the chances of him being traded at all. If there's a taker for Bonda's services, then they'll trade him. We got a couple. Seth pointed out both ham and mushrooms are things that belong in an omelet. So, that's a good.
No, I'm not a mushroom guy. Just I can't do it. I don't like them.
Yeah, I like him in an omelet. I like him on pizza. I like him in pasta dishes. And maybe that's like, I don't know if anybody just likes mushrooms on their own. Like I wouldn't eat a raw mushroom, but cooked mushrooms on something, in something.
If you like it, you need to like it all the way.
Tell me about it. That's what I keep telling my wife. Cole says, does Richie get kickbacks from the Padres every time he says Manny Machado's name? That's an excellent question.
Yeah.
Rosman asks if we have gotten a gift for our significant others for Valentine's Day.
That seems like something you guys would smartly do, you and Mrs. Snydog.
I'll tell you something. It's the opposite of what we would do, because we are firm believers that like I think my wife would slap me in the face if I got her flowers on Valentine's Day, because flowers are more expensive at Valentine's Day and Mother's Day because the industrial flower complex is
Because
manipulating
big
us.
flower, yeah,
Big flower, yeah.
yeah.
And so I, throughout the year, will just randomly send my wife flowers on a random Tuesday because I was thinking of her instead of doing it when the man tells me I should. And it's kind of the same with gifts. Like it's like I don't know, like my wife's not a big jewelry wearer, and we are going on a little trip together, me and her and our two sons going down to St. George for a baseball tournament. So, I got her a hotel room for Valentine's Day. But yeah, we're not big Valentine's Day celebrators because we just love each other every day.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is less romantic, but no, we don't really do and loving. No, we don't do the Valentine's so much. What we do enjoy is the discounted candy after the fact. That's usually a good time. But it would probably be more the enjoyment of not having to do anything, not having to go out to, a restaurant where all the prices are hiked up and there's too many people there and you got to wait for a table and yada yada, so on and so forth. We're old and lazy, and that's enough to love.
Absolutely.
guys, if you want that on a T-shirt, mash that thumbs up button. For old and lazy, that's
DC
enough.
says flowers die, chocolates are better. That's true too, but also we've always got chocolate in the house, but also I don't get flowers for my wife very often because I have 4 cats and cats are the stupidest things in the world. And so like when I do get her flowers, I just send them to her at work. So at least other people can talk about how nice I am that I send her flowers, but they don't hang out at home because the cats will destroy them anyway. And we always have chocolate available. So,
no, we got 3 cats here, and every time the misso tries to put flowers or plants or something, mainly plants, somewhere inside the house, inevitably we find petals or parts of plant on the floor and chomp marks. Really, it's one cat that messes them all up. But if anybody wants a cat, let me know.
Hey, Cole's got a good Valentine's Day idea for you, Clint. Put a ring on it, baby.
Well,
I know how you love the institution of marriage.
Well, there was a point where we believed in that a little bit more. We've been engaged for like 8 years. And I bought the engagement ring that has like the wedding ring integrated into it.
Yeah.
Real nice ring, solid ring. I liked it. It's exactly the type of thing I wanted, that I was looking for. I was able to find it. And then along the way, my heart shrunk 3 sizes. And, marriage just seemed like a cash grab for big government. So it's like, why do we need to do that when we could just continue to dwell together here in the beautiful city of La Puente, California?
Aren't there tax benefits though? I think taxes are better when you're married.
You're acting like I do my taxes. 1099.
Pete Rose and Clint Pasillas, baby.
Oh man. Any hoozle. Moving on.
Nicole says you can get edible arrangements. Those are awesome. I send them to my mother. Yeah,
my mom.
There's a place here that does cookie bouquets that I will. My wife loves sugar cookies. I don't like sugar cookies much, but she loves them, and so I'll do that sometimes, just depending on what kind of mood I'm in.
Yeah. Did you see the question from Elisheva asking about, do we think the Dodgers are likely to re-sign Evan Phillips? At the time they non-tendered him, I would have said pretty likely, pretty certain. I feel like as the offseason has sort of trudged along and just looking at the pieces they have in the bullpen, I mean, you can never have too much pitching, as our friend Tim Rogers might say often. But I don't know that there's necessarily a fit, a clear fit for Evan Phillips outside of, hey, come join us, get healthy, and we'll figure it out. But
yeah, I think Phillips is a guy who isn't going to sign anywhere until he's closer to healthy. I think he seems interested in looking at his options, and
it's an important year for I
come
think next year
July
he's
when he's close to being
healthier.
ready, well, then, maybe the Dodgers do have a need in the bullpen, either because Tanner Scott is bad again or, somebody's hurt or whatever. And I just use Tanner Scott because he's the example of the guy who's on the roster this year who was bad unexpectedly last year. They don't have a Kirby Yates anymore, but yeah, there could be guys who are bad or hurt. And so maybe there will be a need. And if there's not, then he can. I would guess Phillips' preference would be to come back to the Dodgers, but he can probably also see that, the fit might not be right when he's
Yeah.
ready to come back. And so I think he's going to wait until he's closer to ready before he makes that decision. Unlike Kiké, who everybody knows is coming back to the Dodgers. So as soon as there's room on the roster, they'll sign him.
Yeah, and as soon as he's closer to being ready, like I for his sake, I hope it is earlier that he's able to show up to camp, even though he won't be doing much in the way of baseball activities. You would assume. I don't know how far along he is in that elbow surgery, but just to be or elbow recovery from elbow surgery, but to be part of, the new-ish look of the clubhouse, I think that would be good for him.
Yeah. Nicole says, message delivered. Do not get tax advice from Senor Pasillas. Absolutely.
You just write it off.
You could probably take the word tax out of that sentence and it would still be pretty solid. Just don't get advice from Clint.
Rude, hurtful.
Yeah, it's what I am. Buddha points out that Brewstar is a good possibility to be injured later in the season.
Yeah.
Let's see. Enigma earlier before you hopped in, he predicted that Shohei is going to hit 60 homers. What do you think?
No, not with. I'd love it, but not with him pitching full time this season. I think there's going to be a little bit more wear and tear. Maybe not as much sock in there. Bona fide guaranteed as long as he's healthy to hit over 40. Will he hit 50 again? I don't even know if he'll go that far. Hopefully I'm wrong, but I don't think he hits 60.
Yeah.
Where you at?
That's kind of my thought. And my thing was just 54 and 55 were already more than we could have hoped for. And so I'm not going to press my luck. If he hits around 50 and, Rosman says, Jeff and Clint, what's your go-to dish to cook for your family?
What I usually do is I will cook, either on the barbecue or smoker or whatever. I will get some chicken breast and I will make enough to make food for the rest of the week. The Misso and I tend to not eat together a whole bunch unless it's like, ordering food because we're lazy or tired or bad. But the later night, like timing isn't always on, but sometimes, if anything, it would be like chicken Alfredo and some cheese toast, whatever, like 5 cheese garlic bread. That would probably be a solid go-to. But I imagine the Snider household is a lot more family oriented.
We're family oriented, but also we have 2 teenage boys, and our daughter is out of the house now. But it's been a busy life, and so we kind of have to force it to sit down together as a family to eat, and it doesn't happen a ton. I make really good mac and cheese. That'll probably be my go-to. Some
Blue
sort
box?
of pasta thing. There's no, shut up. There's a lot of different you mentioned chicken Alfredo. A lot of different pasta dishes that I will throw together that are really good, and that's kind of our go-to. If we're sitting around, Sunday is a day we usually eat together as a family. And sometimes we plan ahead and do something real, throw a roast in the crock pot in the morning before church or something. But a lot of times it's like, hey, it's 3:30 Sunday afternoon. I guess we should start thinking about what we're having for dinner tonight. And we always have pasta here. And there's always, good. I usually have the stuff to make something good with pasta. I made a really good queso dip today for the Super Bowl. It was good. Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa,
celebrating the Super Bowl, huh? Party?
You're celebrating an excuse to have queso? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good call. I went the extremely lazy route, going to my friend's house and I ordered the like little sub sandwiches from Walmart that you can get for like $7. I ordered 2 of those and we never even opened them. So I got that going for me.
Nice. Any grape Welch's?
There was not.
No,
There
that's
was not. There was a lot of adult beverages though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Buddha
Not enough
says
adults.
stir fry is easy. Just get peanut sauce. I don't like stir fry very much, and I like fried rice if it's done well, but like stir fry, it's definitely not my thing. I wish that Thai food was easier to make at home because Thai food is
Yeah.
my favorite kind of food. But that's definitely it's something I'm good at buying, and there's a place here that does it very well, and so I am good at acquiring good Thai food, but I'm not good at making it.
Yeah, I love me some good Thai. I don't have enough Thai because the Thai spot I love the most is all the way out in Hollywood, and ain't nobody got time for that. But everybody, if you don't know it, go check out Toy on Sunset. Oh, TOI, banger,
Huh.
rockin' Thai food. It's a pretty good spot, really good spot.
Toy sounds like saying Thai if you're like from Australia or something. You want to go get some
Toy.
toy? I
Yeah,
don't know.
tell them I sent you. They'll give you nothing. The water's on me. It's
They'll say
comped.
who?
Who's that guy? The guy. Oh wait, they're gonna say wait. The guy from the internet.
You know, are you the youth from the statistics? Uh, Dirty
I heard.
Don, $1.99
Okay.
super chat. It says, "Do you make your mac and cheese in the oven?" I don't. I don't think putting it in the oven does anything, makes it any better. Most mac and cheese made in the oven has breadcrumbs on top. I am actively opposed to breadcrumbs on my mac and cheese. Um, I like bacon in my mac and
Right.
cheese.
Just say some bacon bits on there or something.
I like chopped up hot dogs in my mac and cheese if I'm feeling real white trash. If it's good hot dogs like from Costco, and chop them up and you fry them up with the
Yeah.
bacon, and
Yeah.
so they're crispy. But yeah,
You know.
I don't bake my mac and cheese.
The weight is making some sense now.
Hey, and yeah, I mean it's remarkable that I've lost weight because I still really like food, but like even today, like this queso dip, I had some and I enjoyed it, but I definitely didn't have nearly as much as I would have, as much as I had last year during the Super
Yep.
Bowl. And it wasn't because of the football was different; it was because I was different. So
Uh-huh. But that
um,
mindset, baby.
yeah,
There was a chat from Showtime LA, also asking about bringing back Evan Phillips, but he's calling me out saying I need to talk about Edgargo Henriquez as much as Kyle Hurt. He's a stud. I think he has some stud upside. I think he's not as far along in my mind. He's not as far along as Kyle Hurt. The stuff is really good when he's on. Stuff is nasty. That fastball and that slider can be pretty gross, but I think he can get a little wild at times. Kyle Hurt, it's funny. I talked about this yesterday. I think both Kyle Hurt and River Ryan. They have like 4 games each under their belt as big leaguers, and how much I talk about them is probably too much. But yeah, I don't know. I would love Henriquez to take that next step forward and be somebody that really the organization that can trust, that Dave can put on that trust tree a little bit more, because I think he's still kind of just a little not wishy-washy, but they don't view him as high as some other guys, which he hasn't earned yet.
yeah,
What do you
absolutely.
Edgardo?
I think this year's going to be an interesting year for him because not like it's make or break, but it is definitely his opportunity to take that next step forward. Last year, he had the injury that was probably self-inflicted that impacted the
Oh yeah.
start of the season. So I think Edgargo coming in healthy and pumping 102, and he's got a chance to show something this year, and he could step up and kind of cement his place as a big part of this bullpen. But yeah, it really is kind of up to him on how well he plays.
Yep.
I've got a couple of other comments here starred that will just jump through. GI says, have to wonder just how effective Kiké will be coming off shoulder surgery on his throwing arm. If I
Elbow.
remember right, it was
Elbow.
elbow surgery and his
Left.
non-throwing arm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I
He
would
had
definitely
to
be more
extend it.
concerned about a right shoulder injury than a left elbow injury for Kiké. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. I think it affected him more. I think there was the verbiage thrown around or gently thrown around was ligament detached from the bone, which makes it a little difficult at times. Probably less so to swing, but more so that extension through the
Yeah.
ball. So he was struggling more so on breaking pitches, which Kiké generally struggles with when fully healthy. And yeah, pitches away. So giving him that time to get healthy, I don't have much concern about Kiké because he's not like a 300 hitter either way.
Yeah.
Unless he's
I'm
tremendous.
hopeful that he will be noticeably better than last year when he was hurt for a lot of the year. Because yeah, he was pretty bad last year, but we know we can count on him defensively. We know he's got the versatility, he's got the vibes and everything. We just need the bat to show up, and hopefully being healthy will help with that.
Well, I just realized.
Go
Let's
ahead.
say I just realized Showtime LA also had his comment as a super chat. So
Yeah,
we
that's what I
addressed it.
popped
But
up when you
gotcha.
mentioned it. So I
Hold
hadn't
on, let me
seen
hit
the
the
other
gong.
one. Elisheve asks, is Muncy likely to retire from baseball at the end of 2026?
I don't think
I
so.
I don't think so. I think I just saw something today about Muncy, about his similarities to Kyle Schwarber and how he's likely to age well, because none of Muncy's skills are necessarily the skills that it's not based on speed or other things that go down with age quickly. And so yeah, I think there's a decent chance that Muncy can stay effective for at least a few more years. And I think he's going to have a big year. And whether that means the Dodgers say, okay, you're going to keep being our third baseman, or he goes somewhere else to be a starting third baseman, or he transitions into more of a utility kind of role
Yeah.
for the Dodgers, or a platoon role. But one way or another, I expect Max Muncy playing in 2027.
Yeah, he and with the Dodgers, he can play some third. He can play maybe a little second in there. Give Freddie a bit of rest at first base, and even if he's coming off the bench, like with having a 26-man roster now, like I think you can get away with having an extra body on that roster who can just show up and hit and play a few times a week or whatever. Would be real nice if he could DH perhaps, but that's not an option in the Shohei era.
At
But
least
yeah,
not
it would
yet.
be not yet. It would be tough though. It would definitely be tough to envision him not coming back.
Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah.
he loves it. Nicole mentions Muncy wants to retire a Dodger. I've talked about this with Muncy before, and a little bit of Chris Taylor too. Like, they're guys who seems like they appreciate being a big league player more than some guys do, just because they were so close to it not happening for them. And
Yeah.
I think they do. Like Max Muncy especially, he just
Real
seems like
tough.
a guy who just appreciates, like, it's almost like, yeah, I'm a big league ball player, but it's still not quite real to me. And so I think he's just loving the ride he's on, getting to be a key part of 3 World Series championship teams is something that most
Mhm.
guys never get. And especially guys who, were sitting on their couch thinking their career was over until the Dodgers called them.
Yeah.
Like,
I
it's,
mean, he was contemplating, going and playing in Korea, I think, at that point. I think
yeah.
there was either Korea or Japan. There was like, I think he was fielding an offer after being released from the A's, um, being rescued by Farhan, and signed to play at AAA for that year with the Dodgers, and then all of a sudden gets that opportunity with JT's injury early in that 2018 season, and man, the rest is history. And we've talked about it. We talked about Muncy's legacy on
Yeah.
the internet over the course of years, both with you being a part of the channel and us doing our own separate things. And this is a Dodger legend. I don't care what anybody says. Like, by the numbers, by just what he means to this clubhouse. And I would say that's another big reason, like, he enjoys being a big leaguer, but I think he really enjoys being a field general in that clubhouse.
Yeah, absolutely. Nicole says she thinks eventually Muncy transitions to veteran
Yeah.
clubhouse role. Yeah, he doesn't quite have the defensive flexibility that some of the other guys do for that role, but he can play first and third. He's played second in the past. I'm dubious that he could do it in the post shift era, but yeah, I mean, he's a
And
guy
older.
who, yeah, and older. Yeah, he's a guy you keep around if you possibly can. Showtime says bad news for Freeland if Muncy stays past 26. Yeah, The bad news for Freeland will be if Freeland can't figure out how to hit in the big leagues. That's if Freeland figures out how to hit in the big leagues, then they will make room for him, or they'll trade him to a team that needs him. But that's Freeland didn't hit very well in the minors, and so he's going to be a glove first guy probably, and that might just be a role that might be better on a different team, or but with Rojas retiring after this year, maybe Freeland could fill in that role, being a switch hitter, able to play all the different positions. Freeland will find a job, but whether it's a starting job will all come down to whether or not Freeland hits the baseball.
Yeah. And bad sample size in his debut. Hopefully that's all a wash for him. There's definitely going to be there will definitely be some opportunities, especially now with them letting Ibanez go and that kind of stuff. There will be plenty of opportunity for Freeland to show his wares. Hopefully he can find a way to get a little bit more opportunity than Michael Busch did.
Yeah. Cole has an interesting question, asked if Muncy has 10 years of service time yet. He does not. He will hit it this year. Yeah. He's, around August, he will hit 10 years. So that's a big deal for him, obviously. That would also give him a no trade clause, because he would be a 10-5 guy at that point too. Although 10-5 might not even based on service time, might just be years in the league, because he's played in 10 seasons. I'm not sure. I can't remember how the 10-5 rules work, but yeah, he'll hit 10 years of service time this year, which is obviously a huge milestone for any player. And again, it's a guy who in 2017, he was literally, the season had started and he didn't have a job, and he was thinking that his career was either over, or at least his career in the U.S. was over. And so couldn't be happier for Muncy that he got to do so much so far, and there's still more to come, I think.
Hey, to add to the versatility, by the way, he has in his career 10 games in left field and 17 games in right field. None of those have been since 2018.
Yeah, last year I pulled up I think it was last offseason when they were talking about trading for Arenado, and Muncy saying I'll play wherever they want me to and stuff. And so I looked up every ball that has ever been hit to Max Muncy in left field in his big league career. And for the most part, he didn't look terrible, but at times he did look like a third baseman playing left field. I mean, he wouldn't be noticeably worse than Teoscar Hernandez.
I was waiting for it.
And so, turn that into a left field platoon. Sure. I don't know. It's we'll see what happens with
ideally that's not an option. They're talking about Muntz as the potential for him getting into coaching. And it's funny, that was one of the things I was going to say. It's like, as soon as that playing career is done, I can imagine him be just sliding right into that into Dave's, if it's still Doc around, into that coaching staff, whether it's Garen's role or some sort of just general coaching role, or Danny Lehman's role, who's tentatively scheduled to join us on the Dodgers territory on Thursday. Everybody loves the bench coach joining the show. But there was another question about what makes a good coach or what makes a good manager. I think it's just that ability to communicate. And he's got that, dude. He's got that ability. That dude has that ability. He could talk to people in different ways. I think, if you guys have seen him a lot on Foul Territory, the way in other interviews, he speaks in a good way that's very easy to follow along with and understand. And I think that very much translates to a coaching role.
Yeah. And there's different kinds of coaches too. That was Rosman who asked the question. There's different kinds of coaches, there's if we're talking a manager, as we've seen from Dave Roberts, a huge part of a manager's job is that communication, that sort of thing. But then there's coaches who actually like Kevin Kiermaier, when he was on the team, he was kind of a player coach for outfielders. There's actually guys who can teach the game. Ron Washington is an excellent coach and not a very good manager. It's a different skill set. But yeah, Muncy, I love the idea of him remaining as a coach. We know Miggy Rowe wants to be a coach at some point. Justin Turner makes a lot of sense as a coach. Speaking of Turner, somebody said, Dave Luna says, I think there's a chance Muncy plays second if the Red Sox and Blue Jays made JT play second in a post-shift world. JT played 10 games at second base in 2023. So that was with the Red Sox. He didn't play any second base with the Blue Jays. Those 10 games are the only 10 games he's played at second base in the last 10 years. So yeah, Justin Turner isn't a second baseman anymore. Max Muncy, I just don't see it. I would love to be wrong, but I have a hard time seeing Max Muncy being a second baseman.
Yeah.
At this point in his career,
somebody you could throw there in an emergency, sure, maybe, but serviceable every day, even in a platoon, probably not.
Yeah.
Then again, he loves to prove people wrong.
Yeah, he does. But he was a decent second baseman before the shift, or when the shift was legal. So I have a hard time seeing now that he's older and would have to cover more ground. Yong Yi says, so Kershaw rejected the Dodgers front office job and instead joined NBC broadcasting job. I don't think Kershaw rejected anything. I doubt that there was any sort of front office job offered to him. Because Kershaw's not going to retire as a player and take a full-time job. The NBC gig, it's like, hey, you want to do something once every 2 weeks or something like that? Yeah, that sounds great. I like baseball enough to do that. But yeah, in the future, maybe there's a front office or a broadcasting or something gig that takes up more time. But right now, Kershaw's full-time job is being a dad, and everything else is going to be part-time. So
yeah, and golfing a little.
Yeah,
according to sources.
Yeah, sources say. Mr. Buddha says, chopped up hot dogs. Are you a character from a Dukes of Hazzard episode? I don't remember that episode where they put chopped up hot dogs in their mac and cheese, but hot dogs are one of those things that like they taste really good, and mac and cheese tastes really good, and they taste good together. And so I accept the fact that it's white trash, but also it's delicious. And white trash and delicious is kind of what I'm looking for in food most of the time.
What's more white trash? Is it the mac and cheese and dogs, or is it pork and beans and dogs?
I feel like pork and beans you need hot dogs in. Like beanies and weenies. Like pork and beans on their own, they're not as good without hot dogs in them, Yeah. Now baked beans you don't need hot dogs in. Baked beans are good, but pork and beans I think they are actively better with hot dogs in them. Seth says, Jeff and Clint, what are your favorite bobbleheads or collectibles? Your Raul Ibanez guitar?
I don't know. I will give love to the bobblehead Mr. and Mrs. Richie in DeVore had made for me for my birthday last year. I think that is pretty cool. My Lasorda signed wine for when I did an interview with him in 2018 was a good time. I think that's also available in the scene there ever so slightly. Or no, it looks like, it is. It's right next to the Blue Heaven sign. But other than that, I don't know. I got out of the collectibles. Like, just felt like it was taking up a lot of space.
Yeah, that's what they do. Is that the Babe Ruth Dodgers bobblehead I see over your right shoulder?
Yeah.
I like that one. That one's cool.
Yeah, it has a cracked helmet, but I got it from I don't know if they're doing them anymore, but you know how FanFest for a little while had the garage sale.
Yeah.
So one year, me and my friend were waiting in line my friend and I were waiting in line for, I don't know, it felt like 4 hours. And by the time we got to the actually being able to grab stuff and see things or whatever, they're just like, they were trying to wrap up. It was the end of the day. So they gave us everything for like $1 or max $5. So I bought like all of the bobbleheads that they had, which was a lot of them, including that Babe Ruth one. I think I have like 2 more somewhere as well.
Yeah, I've got the Babe Ruth one. I was trying to find it. I was pretty sure it was up on the top shelf because that's where I have got a bunch. Everybody on my top shelf is left-handed. And so I was pretty sure Babe Ruth was up there, and he was. Let me see if I angle this up a little bit. So you can see starting from this side up there, you got several Fernando bobbleheads, and then Babe Ruth's right there. And then you've got, that's right. I did put Mookie up there. So Mookie is my only non-lefty up there.
Famously left-handed.
But then you've got Sandy Koufax, and then a bunch of Clayton Kershaws, and then Vin Scully, who is left-handed, and then Dave Roberts, and then Corey Seager and Cody Bellinger and Kirk Gibson all up there. What I ought to do is move Mookie down and put those Tommy Lasordas up there to keep that left-handed.
This is in shop design with Clint and Jeff.
I'm going to need to do some rearranging anyway soon.
Yeah, I just became disappointed to learn that you have one of those like LED USB mics.
Yeah.
I mean, it works. It sounds good enough.
No, this one, it's much better than my old one. I used to have the, what's it called? What's the one that every podcaster in the world has?
Oh, the Shure SB7?
No,
Yeah. It's usually a Shure mic.
No.
If not, it's a Rode mic, like a Procaster.
No.
Which I think of what I have. I have a podcaster here that I splurged and got myself last year.
Yeah.
I have a Shure that I got from Alana because the USB portion of it broke, but I could still use XLR. So there you go. There's Tech Talk with Clint.
Yeah, and I can't remember. It's driving me crazy that I don't remember what the other one I had was. But yeah, this one works great, and
yeah, it sounds good.
I'm happy with it. So,
probably a lot cheaper than the $100 I paid for this mic and all the other BS you got to do to make it work.
Yeah, a $4.99 super chat from Enigma. Pretty surreal that Mookie, one of the best right fielders in the 21st century, will likely never play right field again. I agree with it, but still surreal.
That is fair.
Yeah. And our buddies at Drip Show Shop said, would y'all be open for a Dodgers Drip Show canvas giveaway this season? Absolutely, we would.
Yeah.
As long as I'm turning my camera. Remember, there's my Drip Show canvases. And my
I like that one, yeah.
Cardboard cutout from the 2020 season.
That's pretty good. No, I saw also, earlier, Drip Show had mentioned like another one of our favorite collectible being the canvases, of course. And do you have a one shot of me so I don't have to move my camera? Or I can. Whatever. I'll just move it ever so slightly. So I still need to find a spot for my VIN down here. I love that one. I have, let's see if I could do this without ruining anything. So, I mean, I have my Kersh over there in the corner. I used to have a TV there, but now it's over there. And then as I've pointed out here, my Shohei up on the wall, filling up a perfect spot that I needed filled. They're really cool. I saw Drip Show posted on his Instagram or reposted somebody who had like 3 or 4 of them stacked up in like a hallway or maybe whatever it was. It looked really cool. They are nice. They are absolutely nice. And we never just say that because Drip Show sends us. They'll have sent canvases in the past. Like if you're looking for quality and cool designs and not generic, like fake Dodgers font or whatever, they're bangers.
Yeah. I've got some stuff that was sent to me for free that is back in the corner that it's just in a pile because it's not cool, but this Drip Show stuff is cool. I don't have the VIN one, but I do have a VIN corner back here behind my desk.
That is nice.
Yeah. I've also got back there is all my baseball cards.
Oof. God, that's so much space taken.
Yeah. And then this cabinet, that black cabinet there has all my my extra bobbleheads, the ones that I have duplicates of that are still in boxes. They're in that cabinet there. And
we really need to, before the season starts, finally just have our official we can call it Jeff's Man Cave and Clint's office tour 2026.
I think we won't call it that. There's more Vin stuff. I think I've shown that before. That one next to the door, that's a cross stitch my wife did at Vin Scully.
Oh yeah.
And then right above it is the farewell letter that we got as fans at the Vin Scully Appreciation Weekend
Oh, nice.
in 2016. Got that framed. We got my Dodger Stadium 661 miles sign up there at the top.
That's awesome. Pretty good.
This down there, that's the what my wife got me, or no, my sister got me for Christmas.
My sister.
Ticket stubs from the 9 Dodgers World Series championships. That's that frame thing there.
Nicole says a man cave tours. We're so honored.
Yeah.
And people want to know.
That's my kids up there in the corner there.
Oh, gotcha.
To the left of the bobbleheads.
Yeah.
And that does say fan cave.
Fan cave.
Yeah, somebody gave it to me, but that's why I put that not on camera, because it's nice. But yeah, it's yeah. Have I told you my objection to the man cave concept?
I'm assuming it's Richie spite.
No, it has nothing to do with Richie. I've disliked that term for a long time. For me, like when I watch like House Hunters or whatever, anytime a guy is looking for a man cave in his house, it's somewhere he wants to go to escape his wife. Yeah. And I like my wife. Every time I'm in my office, I am looking forward to when I'm not in my office anymore and I'm with my wife instead. And
yet you do 3-hour streams.
Well, she goes to bed early. So like she's already in bed now. So it's like, I'm not going to get to see her anyway. So I might as well just keep talking here. So
yeah.
Well, let me finish the room, I guess, as long as I'm doing this tour. Because over here, you got the bobbleheads that don't belong on camera, but I can't throw them away. These little mini bobbleheads here are kind of cool. They're from the 2020 World Series Championship team. There's 16 different players. Up there, you've got a Shohei Ohtani on the Angels, right there. Magic Johnson next to him. Back in the corner that I've pointed out a few times, I've got the Italian sausage bobblehead from when I went to a Brewers game.
Brewer game, yeah.
And next to that is the Alexi Ramirez when I went to a White Sox game. And right behind Italian sausage, you've got Cole Calhoun and Jay Bruce, both robbing homers bobbleheads that I got at Angel and Red games, respectively. So, yeah. And I've got more baseball cards over here. I've got too many baseball cards everywhere. So bobbleheads here. There's a Blake Trinan bobblehead here. I don't remember if this is one that I just haven't found room for on the shelf yet or not. And right here is a bunch of Shohei Ohtani cards and Aaron Judge cards that I'm going to send to a consignor to sell for me on eBay.
Oh, wow. What a guy.
Yeah. That's my office. So.
Oh, I got a button for that. That's, I'll tell you, that's riveting stuff for people listening on the podcast.
And my English degree.
This guy
number one fan. And then a Kershaw vinyl that my daughter painted. And a cool artwork of Dodger Stadium. So, and that's my friend Clint.
Hi, I know that guy. This is a good show now. Double the Clint, double the pleasure.
Double the Clint is almost 10 feet tall.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Because you're just a little guy.
Gage is asking, what's the jersey behind the guitar? So I got two. The one behind, I'm going the wrong way. The one behind the bass is a signed Tommy Lasorda 2000 Team USA Olympics jersey. And the one with the gold, that is a Freddie Freeman 2024 World Series champion jersey. Behind my knockoff SG. Yeah.
Swollen Sausage was excited. He said he has a sausage bobblehead. Swollen Sausage also sent us a super chat, $1.99. It says, not sure if Jeff likes me, but I really like him. He spelled butt with 2 T's. I can't tell if that was a joke or not. But either way, I like it. And Dirty Don says, I want to bid on your Ohtani cards. Hey, send me a DM. Make it easier on me. But I was going through and I found, I was just looking, what are these worth? And a specific Ohtani rookie card. I was surprised to discover it's selling raw for like $1,500 right now, and I have 5 of them. I'm like, yeah, I definitely don't need at least 4 of those. So yeah.
I like Ken's comment, and Jeff said it wouldn't go over an hour tonight.
That's true. I did. I'm still. Noah says the Italian sausage bobblehead, not a bad nickname. Yeah, I did say it wouldn't go over an hour. I'm definitely not getting to 2 hours though, but I didn't know Clint was going to show up and actually be entertaining for once. So
My man.
I don't know why I'm bullying you. I'm supposed to bully Kevin.
Yeah, this is, you know what? Who's that one guy on the internet who's calling you out about that? Let's go attack.
Yeah.
Let's go attack mode. Get distracted.
Snafu says, Jeff, didn't you once say you had a card in your wallet you've kept for decades? Yeah, it's a Mike Marshall 1987 Topps card. I don't have my wallet on me. It's upstairs on the island in my kitchen, but it's in there and it is not in good shape.
Where did I see? Showtime LAD in the chat asking if we know when single game tickets go on sale. I have not looked that up. I definitely
haven't heard anything.
Probably shortly after games start at Camelback or shortly before.
Yeah. I don't remember when they normally do, but yeah, I think it's usually around the start of spring training. So
I was asked by the golf course we did the watch party at if we wanted to do an opening day watch party there. I don't know that you can or want to make it out to beautiful Pico Rivera, California, or make it out to the greater LA area for opening day and not go to opening day. But it is a thing that is apparently on the table.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely worth considering for sure. I don't really have a good feel for what my traveling flexibility is going to be this season. It might have to be just quick trips where I hop in the car, leave work at noon on Friday and drive to Elsinore and then go to a game on Saturday and then drive home on Sunday or something, which I'm not opposed to those trips. I like driving, and so it's not bad. But, I don't really know. Don't know what we're going to be looking like.
Figure it out. We definitely, somebody also, I think you were talking about, or somebody asked you much earlier or a little bit before I joined about doing meetups. Definitely are going, I'm planning out, finding some dates where we can, meet up at a Dodger game, have some drinks and some grape Welches and everybody hang out. Hopefully Jeff can make it, but if not, me and other friends of the show could be there. And
I'm a Diet Coke and lemonade guy these days. Grape Welches is high school Jeff, not.
Gotcha.
Not 48-year-old Jeff.
Sometimes you could just fall right back on that wagon or off that wagon.
I don't think that would be good for the weight loss if I went back to grape Welches,
Coward.
There's a lot of sugar there. DC asked which Mike Marshall, the pitcher or the big outfielder. I mean, you should know by the fact it's a 1987 Topps card because the pitcher, Mike Marshall, retired in the late 70s. But yeah, it's big outfielder Mike Marshall. Who was my favorite player as a kid, mostly because he was a big, dumb-looking outfielder, and so was I.
I like Ken said you guys broke the fourth wall. We did. Technically, we're breaking it all the time because we're staring at the fourth wall here.
It's true. We are talking to the camera, which is the literal definition of breaking the fourth wall. Mr. Buddha points out that my favorite player, Mike Marshall, dated Belinda Carlisle back in the early 80s. They actually lived together for about a year, but it didn't work out. Yeah, and Bob Welch dated a different member of the Go-Go's, whose name I can never remember, but she was pretty famous too. But so two Dodgers were dating Go-Go's at roughly the same time.
I got the beat. I think that was them.
Maybe.
Noah says, invite me in, Jeff. I'll make it 3 hours. No, 3 hours sounds bad. My back is already hurting from sitting in bad chairs 2 nights in a row. Rosman asking, when is Kevin going to come back? Kevin and I did a show together on Wednesday, I think it was. We'll probably do another show, potentially all 3 of us, this coming Wednesday. But he's around, He couldn't join me yesterday because he had things. He had prior engagement.
Richie says Jeff enjoys driving, except when driving past Devore. Nope, that's my favorite time to drive. Yeah, driving to Devore, I wouldn't enjoy that. Driving past Devore, it's fun.
Right on by it.
Yeah. Swollen Sausage. Mike Marshall couldn't play tonight because he had a sore toenail. Mike Marshall got kind of a reputation of not having hashtag mental toughness, you might say. He once missed a game for general soreness, Yeah, got a lot of grief for that, not playing through injury and stuff. Noah says, Jeff, when you mix Diet Coke and lemonade, what's the ratio like? No, it's 80% Diet Coke, 20% lemonade. The lemonade is just for flavor, a little bit, just to give a little bit of lemon kick to it. Yeah, I'm actually excited. We just finished off the pink lemonade in our soda machine at work, and so tomorrow we're back to the Minute Maid Light Lemonade, which is my ideal selection for that particular drink. And so I haven't had that. I've never had it at work because we've been in pink lemonade since I started, but I put a stop to that. So I stopped buying the pink lemonade, but we had to wait till it ran out in the machine, you know?
Yeah,
So,
it would be like that.
Yeah, I'm excited about it though.
I had pink lemonade a lot tonight. I mixed it with my my Malibu rum because I am a grown-up man and I had Malibu and lemonade. Sponsor me, Malibu.
Apparently, there's ads popping up during the YouTube show. JY Kim says, for a second, I thought Jeff was doing voices. I'd be for when I read it first, I thought he said doing dog voices. Like I think my brain, I don't know, like Scooby Doo.
Yeah, it's a Rory Rove. What would you say, Rory Roves? Ronnie Roves.
Ronnie Roves.
Ronnie Roves. That's right.
I don't know if you mentioned this, but yeah, behind the curtain, when I referred to him as Ronnie Roves in our group text, you, me, and Kevin did not know who I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like, what else would it mean? Obviously, it's short for Ron Roveltelt.
Yeah. To be fair, I was doing something else, and it took me actually looking at the message to fully get it, which was not that much to get. But you know, Kevin has his ways.
Yeah. Noah says, Jeff, if I'm in Utah, can you spot me a dinner at your job? I can spot you a dinner for $10. Absolutely. That's the guest price. But you know, we'll make you some good food. So
I hear they got really good mac and cheese, according to sources. This just in.
Yeah, I don't make, well, I do make mac and cheese at work. It's harder. I think it's better when I make it at home because I have the ratios down pat. Like making mac and cheese for 100 people is a lot different than making mac and cheese for 5 people, you know? So $1.99 super chat from Swollen Sausage. Thanks, Jeff, for noticing me. Cling avocados are thumbs up.
I'm Cling. It's me, your boy. No, Sausage has he's got avocados. He's got like a avocado forest or something like that up there in his at his palatial estates in the more central California-ish area, or more central than where I am. So we've been talking for a while about getting some avocados.
Ken says, say Ron Roveltelt in a Scooby-Doo voice. Ron Roveltelt?
Yeah.
I've told you, Rob Ref Snider is my favorite player whose name sounds like Scooby-Doo saying my name. Ref Snider.
No, hey, look, you got a customer. Noah says in this economy, I'm okay paying $10.
Yeah, it's a good deal. I mean, we're not trying to make money on our guests. You know,
you could barely get a Baconator for $10. I'm just saying.
And what about a son of Baconator?
Great name, just great name for
anything.
For anything.
A child.
For a junior bacon cheeseburger.
This is my daughter, son of Baconator.
Oh God.
You can call me Jeff. $10 and you have to do the dishes. DC says, no, we have people do the dishes. My son's one of them, but yeah. I don't know. You got anything else we need to talk about here, Clint? We've been hour and a half?
Yeah, I was figuring we could wait for the 90-minute mark, but my back hurts, like I said. I'm ready. I'm ready. You're for old. I am old. You know, I'm large and in charge, as the kids say.
Rosman says, Jeff and Clint, who do you think would win in a home run derby? I assume he means between you and me.
Yeah. Well, the state of my back, I definitely need to do some stretchies, as we call them, maybe a little yoga with a soft J. But I don't know. You got leverage.
Yeah, you and I have never engaged in physical combat. I am relatively confident that I am significantly stronger than you.
You're taller. You're larger.
I'm large. Yeah, I assume I'm quite a bit stronger than you, and so I assume that I would beat you in a home run derby like 1-0 or something, Like, it depends on where the fences are at,
Yeah,
But
definitely. I don't think we're getting 300,
like if we're
400
at
straight.
Dodger Stadium, I think with enough swings, I could hit one out of the park at Dodger Stadium.
Give me a fungo bat and I'm locked in.
Okay.
You
Like
get a lot easier
fungo bat
leverage.
and like throwing it up to yourself and hitting fungos.
I could probably run into one.
You think so?
Me and friends and my brother and whatnot. We've done a lot of fly balls and shagging fly balls and whatnot. And usually I do the self toss fungo. I don't like flips. I'm not good at flips at all. Um, maybe some like front flips behind an L screen. I might be able
Yeah.
to run into.
Every once in a while when I'm down at the baseball academy with my boys, just working out with them, usually I'm just throwing them BP, but sometimes I'll take a couple hacks and because they do have a whatever it's called, a TrackMan or whatever
Oh yeah.
machine. And I've gotten my exit velo up into the 90s with a good metal bat. And so I think if I poked one right down the left field line at Dodger Stadium, the 330 short wall, I think I could get one out of there on, with Dino Ebel throwing batting practice if I had a good metal bat.
What I loved is right the second you said Dino Ebel, Rosman said in the chat, have Dino, or it popped up for us, have Dino Ebel pitch. So that's a synergy
Yeah,
right there.
that is synergy. Yeah.
I also like RJM said, damn Clint. Jeff basically said he would whoop the ass. I think I would be able to like maneuver around you, even though I'm also big and old and broken. I think I'm a lot more sneaky and maneuverable. So all I gotta do is get behind you, and you'll just be like, "Rrrr."
I guess so. Ray 4.99 super chat from Ray Soto. Thanks for the show. I got hungry again. Hey, go get yourself a son of baconator.
We bring you hunger, we bring you entertainment, we bring you the fight heard around the world. Jeff versus Jake Paul, summer 2026. Bring it on.
Oh man, yeah, I definitely not interested in a boxing match for sure. Like I don't throw punches, but I was a very good wrestler, and like I took on my son's friend who was a good high school heavyweight wrestler last year, and he never stood a chance. And partly because I had 100 pounds on him plus, But I'm yeah. And, you kind of have to be strong carrying this much weight around.
Yeah,
You got to have muscles to do it. So
yeah, something like that, allegedly. But
DC says, Jeff, you didn't answer as to why you have a toilet paper roll on your desk. I didn't see anybody ask that, but it's not toilet paper.
there
It's
were
actually a roll of paper towels.
I saw it a couple times. Might have been DC asking a few times if I'm being
Yeah,
honest.
it's paper towels, not toilet paper. And I have it on my desk just because sometimes you need paper towels when you're in your office, whether it's because you spill your water or, you want to spit your gum out and your wastebasket doesn't have a grocery bag in it liner. And so you don't want to just spit your gum straight into the wastebasket because it'll stick to the metal. So, sometimes you just need paper towels. And so I had enough instances where I thought, man, I wish I had a paper towel that I decided to just bring a roll of paper towels down here. So.
Preparedness. Your Boy
Yeah.
Scout.
Ken Wolcott says, am I alone in hearing See No Evil every time I hear Dino Evil? I actually made a t-shirt of that once upon a time. Dodgers coach Petey Montero owns the t-shirt and wears it around Dino Evil sometimes. And Dino has signed off. It's a cartoonified version of Dino Evil doing the covering eyes and covering his ears and covering his mouth. And it says Dino Evil on it.
The more you know.
Seth says this show is an amazing way to start baseball season. Amazing is definitely one word for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of all of the words, it is one of them. But we passed the 90-minute mark, and now I could tell you're doing this out of spite.
Yeah, I am. Swollen Sausage says, Jeff, how much do you weigh? Lose the carbs, weight will drop. Weight is already dropping. I'm down 80 pounds, over 80 pounds. Had an appointment with my doctor the other day. Everything's looking good. And yeah, I've still got 150 or so to go, but I'm down 80. So, we'll take it. And as long as I don't get back into the grape Welches, it'll still be going. All right. Unless anybody has one last super chat they want to pop in here, or 10 super chats, If we get 10 $5 super chats in the next 2 minutes, Clint will stay on for another half hour for the 2-hour mark.
People are already tuning out. People are already tuning out.
That's just because you're acting like the show is ending. So,
well, I was sending a message, not sending a message. I'm sending a text. It turns out my gambling guy, who I thought I had a verbal agreement with that we were putting money on the Seahawks. Apparently, he didn't put the money on the Seahawks.
So you didn't win any money like you thought you did?
No, it's honestly pretty. It's pretty disheartening to learn.
How much did you think you were putting on it?
We had like I don't know, like $150 left from our postseason winnings that we were gonna. I thought we were letting it ride on this superb owl. It turns out, was lied to. So got that going for me.
Cleanio says 10 super chats for a bubble bath stream. I did send Clint and Kevin a picture from my bubble bath the other day.
Even Kevin was like, "Okay, I regret asking for this," or something like that. I regret agreeing to see this.
Yeah. Snafu says Clint accidentally hits the end stream button. That's a great thing. Clint doesn't have the button. Only I can end the stream. I mean, Clint could leave.
Well, I could leave.
And he could end it for himself, but he can't end the stream. So DC asks if your gambling buddy is Ipe.
Yeah. He has full access to my bank account, and he impersonates me.
Yeah. He walks in on his knees because you're short.
Nicole says, speaking of gambling, how's Puig doing? Oof. Oof. That didn't turn out well, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm bummed about that. We'll see what happens, but
it might affect his ability to come back to Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I'd say that one is officially off the table at this point. So
yeah.
With that said, we're gonna wrap this up. This was fun. Less than 2 hours, like I said. Dong just seems like Clint really wants to go, but Jeff is stalling.
Yeah, Jeff is doing this out of spite, and I won't like do him the dirty of just leaving.
Yeah,
unless I decide to.
You know what I just realized though? I haven't mentioned FanDuel odds at all yet on this episode. So let me just say right now, really quick, Dodgers remain at plus 220 to win the World Series over on FanDuel, which means no change since last time. Yankees are at plus 1,000. Is that what they were? Were they at plus 900 last time? It was somewhere.
They were at yesterday. They were at plus 1,000.
Okay, so hasn't changed since then. Yeah, not a lot going on there. What's futures SGP?
Is an SGP now?
What does that mean?
Will they actually do the bet that I agreed to?
I don't know.
What is SGP? I don't know.
Dodgers a lot of stuff you can do over there. Dodgers are at plus 120 to represent the National League in the World Series. And to win the division, they are at minus 650. The only team in the minus to win the division, and they're at minus 650. That's redonkulous.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's pretty good.
That's over at our friends at FanDuel. So
yep. Check them out. Proud sponsor of the show.
$1.99 super chat from Noah says, "Stay, Clint." And with that said, thank you all for being here. This was fun. A good hour and 40 minutes ish. A lot of fun. Thanks for talking Dodgers. Like Clint alluded to earlier, as spring training starts this week, we will have, I guess we'll have at least 4 episodes this week. Probably we'll do at least one more with you and me together, maybe one with the 3 amigos, and then all Dodgers Saturday, after dark Sunday. In the morning on Saturday. So lots of content coming, and be sure to follow us on Twitter. Join our Discord if you haven't done that yet. Let me see if I can find that button.
Where is it? There it is.
There it is. So patreon.com/realfrg, $5 a month to get you access to the Discord. Today you could have watched Enigma and everybody's favorite Kevin Uhas arguing about whether or not Evan Phillips sucks. It was, and the best part was both of them said, "Okay, I'm done arguing now," and like 8 times, and it just kept going until I posted the gif of Mr. Burns saying, "No, you hang up." That's when they finally stopped arguing. $1.99 from Swell and Sausage. Fire Dave Roberts. Just joking. Lol.
I missed that. I mean, I don't miss it, but it takes me back to simpler times, worse times.
Simpler, worse times. Thank you to all of you for being here. Thanks to the chat mods. I don't know if the mods have had any work to do tonight, but we appreciate them anyway. Thanks to the Bleav Network for having us. Thanks to FanDuel for presenting the show. Thanks to Clint for showing up and even after his long Super Bowl party. Appreciate all of you. Thank you to all of you. And we will talk to you on Tuesday, I believe, right? Probably Tuesday.
Sure.
So with that said, all that's left to say is bye.
Bye.